Jack, that's a smart T-shirt, lad.
This is gifted, lad.
Gifted.
Gifted.
We'll do a plug anyway. Anyway, Off-Key's a good brand. Good stuff.
I didn't realise how small they are, though.
What do you mean?
Like in followers, they only got a couple of thousand on Instagram, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked at that page and I looked at the actual clothing and I thought that looks class. I bet they've got like 10,000 followers or something.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, I've had a few gifts from and Jack. I'm sure we've both had gifts. All of us actually have gifts, haven't we? From other. You want to call it gifts? Yeah. You've been sent stuff, basically been sent stuff, and I've been sent stuff in the past, and it's just shit. It's just like I rub it, and I'm like, I can kind of feel by the material whether it's shit. And then you take one photo in it, you kind of never wear it again. You just post it in your story quickly. But Off-Key, honestly, I get sent stuff. I'm like, the quality of this is very, very good. So they do go.
I wish I'd bought the pink tracksuit. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure if I'd rock pink though, like that.
I wasn't sure, but then I saw it the other day on someone, and I thought, oh, be nice.
That's on my street, pink tracksuit. Do they go small?
You'd have had it. Yeah.
Are they small?
They go down to a small, don't they? But
I think so.
They're genuinely a bit oversized, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
It would suit it was the same color as your curtains, I think. Pretty much.
Oh, right. Got you.
Like a light sort of thing. I don't know. Anyway, shout out them. They're good. How's everyone's week been? What have they been up to? Oh, Merry Christmas. How was your Christmas?
Oh yeah, Christmas has been on it.
Go so quick.
Been and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week. To be fair, really good week again. Like with training, no complaints at all. Like I've been waiting for that moment where you're on a good run and you expect it to sort of all of a sudden just dip. And this is what me and AJ were talking about on Sunday, because we obviously trained together, and we're just sort of like, we've got to be really careful now. Like if I can maybe take a +2, is it worth taking a +2? If that's then gonna sort of stop me the next week, like if I've already progressed by taking that extra rep, is it worth going for that that extra one?
Yeah.
So yeah, sort of at that phase where we know that at some point we're gonna have to deload, but it's like I know that I can keep progressing really well, so we're kind of just trying to manage it like that at the minute.
Yeah, I've thought about that, thinking about it. I thought about okay, I've progressed it. Do I really need to be pushing it more and more if I've already progressed it? Can I not sort of save that energy for maybe the next exercise, or maybe not bury myself into the ground, because I've had it before where I'm doing, especially sort of a hip hinge. I've done one working set and I've gone way past where I should have done, and it affects the rest of the session. I'm flagging towards the end of the session just because I'm pushing it. So, yeah.
It's really hard mentally to do, because I don't like to not ever take a rep, even if it's like a 50-50 one. But it's literally just sort of, it's working at the minute. Every single week we're able to take progression, so we'll see how long it goes.
Jack, why are you giggling for, mate?
So happy to be here.
I know.
Just giggle at this bloke.
Look at the fucking size of him.
Even your face is hypertrophied.
Yeah.
I know. It's just extreme amounts of growth right in the face.
And you've actually grown a bit of a beard as well now.
A little bit, but the moustache is just not playing ball, really.
Yeah, it's just so light. It's so you just got such a blonde tash that you can't even see it.
I know.
I'm going to tell everyone that you are Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's bizarre. When I was on prep last time, I had this Abraham Lincoln beard where it just grow here. So it's filled out a little bit with enough steroids. But no, just not quite there yet, really. I'm hoping probably in this time next year.
How are you been? I haven't spoken to you in a while. When was the last time I spoke to you?
Probably the Fit Expo. Arnold's?
Even? Arnold's, yeah, Arnold. Yeah, Arnold's. Yeah, we had some good memories at the Arnold's. Yeah. How's things been since then, mate?
Not too bad, man. Literally, my life is just, as you could probably all relate, it's just bodybuilding until I go to an expo, and then I say hello to a few people, and I go back into my little dungeon, and then just hammer it out, really.
See you
Because
doing some,
where are you training at the moment?
Strength the sound.
yeah.
Still strength. Yeah, I thought you were.
Yeah, man.
See you bench pressing what 180? Set that 4 the other day.
Yeah.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You behave like it's so casual. It's impressive. I know Khifie over here is like, yeah, it's fucking standard. Done it a few times, but
what does it for me is when he fucking throws up the 70-kilo dumbbells like they're fucking 20s.
Yeah, I've been funny you say that because I always relate back to old JP Strength for Island videos, and I kind of see when you're flinging up down, I'm like, right, okay, it's closing in on JP. What was JP doing? Like the 90s, was it?
Yeah, I think he done like 90s.
No, well, yeah.
£200, wasn't it?
Right there, yeah. But you know, I've seen Eddie Hall just do ridiculous things with the hundreds, just like for jokes. You know,
yeah.
Well, I've seen him do it with people, with humans, just like press people up on there, and I'm just like, wow, cool. I'll never
holding like people by the belts.
Yeah,
and, like, shoulder them and shit like that.
And I think he had like at one point just 2 girls each side, just pressing them on a barbell. Like incline pressing them, which is just...
Yeah, but how heavy were they though? Like, if you think about it.
Yeah, I think it's mainly the stability.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Because he usually uses this big, fuck off, long wobbly bar, which is like, makes it 10 times harder.
And presumably they didn't weigh exactly the same either. So
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Where's Eddie training now? He doesn't train at Strength, does he?
Well, he's turning into a boxer, isn't he? So I think he's just he's down some boxing gym in Stoke somewhere. I literally last year in 2020, I used to see him all the time. I used to sort of get caught in the back of his YouTube videos, and people used to Instagram me like, I found you. I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking really escape, really. And now I can't see him at all. I haven't seen him at all. So
I've seen his house. He's got a big old house as well. I watched one of his videos. He's got a big house.
Oh, he's absolutely killed it. Yeah, he's killed it. I've seen him since, because I've been training around about since I was 17 at Strength, and I've seen him go from just a strongman competitor to the world's strongest man to the next Jake Paul.
Next Jake Paul. Khifie, how are you, mate? I saw you struggling to play a game on your story, mate. What game was that?
Oh, mate, that was like fucking just cards, just a normal cards game.
Just not good at card games, no?
Just cards, mate, just cards. No, there was like, we'd done like, I was over the water with the missus and her family, and we were doing like all these card games and that. And obviously to me, this was like, I never had a clue what I was doing. And obviously it was quite a mistake. Let me just add in though that I did win like 5 games, right? But I was just clueless, and obviously I kept making these fucking so rookie mistakes that I was just getting laughed at, and I was fuck that, man. I was just too much for me. Just numbers, too many numbers for me. Like,
usually stick to bodybuilding, I think.
I'll stick to just fucking.
I played
plates, can't you?
Yeah,
yeah, those bodybuilders.
That's the main thing.
20 kilo.
That's it.
I've played
it's literally like that though, because see, when it comes to like
Uno,
doing anything outside of fucking like that, Uno was one of them games that we played. Like,
oh, what a game! What a game! I got it on my phone. It's just not the same. Like,
oh man,
down group of people.
It gets rowdy, doesn't it?
Oh, it's
the worst for breaking families. Honestly, you know.
Look, the tension was real. Like, the tension was proper fucking real.
Yeah.
How many calories does everyone consume over the Christmas period? A lot, or for me, I always undereat.
Mine was poor this year.
Yeah.
I noticed, Jack.
Mine was well down.
Mr. Thorburn, I noticed on your first plate, it was very small. Normally, you'd go for something a little bit bigger than that.
There just wasn't much, like, many options, if honest. I think because the sort of amount of people we had round has gone down, sort of like post-COVID and stuff, numbers are down. We didn't have as much food, and it was just, it was pretty poor, to be honest. So I could have like not had it and I wouldn't have been bothered, you know, which isn't like me at all. So, however, we bought a turkey and we didn't end up cooking it because we thought we had too much, and then it got cooked yesterday, and I saw that come out and I thought, oh, I wouldn't have minded having that as well. I'm not a turkey fan, but it looked very good. So if anything, I wouldn't have said I underate, but I probably was a good sort of 3,000 calories off what I thought I was going to have, to be honest.
Yeah. I think turkey's a bit dry. I think I said that last week. I think
it is, but I basically layer it with cranberry sauce if I'm going to have it.
Yeah, that's what I said. It has to be. I have to have a sauce with it of some sort. I can't just eat that shit on its own. It's dry as anything. Khifie, how do you approach your Christmas? I'm guessing you just had a chilled day.
Yeah, we literally just kind of both like kind of Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So what happens is like it's vice versa every year. So I'll go to my auntie's. Me and my mum will go to my auntie's on Christmas Day one year, and then they'll come to us on Christmas the next year. And basically the opposite happens on Boxing Day. So it was like it's kind of like 2 Christmas dinners over Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Like it's nice, like, but it was just chilled out this year really. I mean, I never ate like loads. I just kind of had my normal food, a Christmas dinner, and then normal food really. I never really and like even like treats wise as well, I never even had that much, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I know I'm getting to my very end of my off season as well. See, my appetite's not dropping, but I'm not really fussed in anything really now. I'm just I am ready to diet. I'm ready to diet, and I know that, and my appetite's telling me that, and my body's telling me that, but it's just, I don't know. I need something to really jump out at me for me to be like, right, I'm going to eat that. And if it doesn't, I'll just not eat it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Take it or leave it with most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because your calories, like, because you've been sort of gaining for quite a while now, the sort of desire isn't there at all.
Mm-hmm.
But Caitlin, you're on like the opposite end of the spectrum there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, so I'm like, 11, 12 weeks post-show.
Yeah.
And I think normally you probably should have a normal appetite, but it's still really, really, really high. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't know why that is. Like,
the thing is, you've kept it very regimented this whole time. Your condition's still great. I still think potentially your hunger hormones won't be back because of how well, like, unfortunately, if you manage it well in terms of not fucking things up, it still isn't great in terms of like hunger, etc. So physically, you've put yourself in a much better position, but it's still a mental test now.
God, yeah, like it's almost as if that I did like a 24-week prep. It's now been like a 34-week prep, like when it comes to saying no to like hunger signaling and stuff like that. And I know that all of a sudden there will literally just be one day where it's like, nah, I'm like appetite goes from really wanting stuff to not. But at the minute, to be honest, I'd prefer it, because in my opinion, like the 2 ways that you're going to end an off season: appetite going or injury. And I know, Jack, yourself, like your appetite after 3 years off season is still pretty damn good. Like that's probably the reason that you've not sort of had to. Well, I know you've done a few mini cuts, but that's not
that was all due to the sort of body fat levels. It wasn't it. It wasn't not once have I done it because my appetite is dwindled. You know.
I spoke to AJ about this, and he mentioned you, Thorburn, and said, you know, the one thing I've got into recently is just testing my blood glucose here and there. Something that I thought it never bothered me in the past, and I don't think it's something that everyone needs to be doing. But I was wondering why I'm feeling the way I am sometimes throughout the day, sort of lethargic feeling at certain times. And obviously my food is quite high as well. I've been pushing 4,500 calories for a while. So I gave it a go, and you know, ever since I've been able to control my blood glucose, I've definitely noticed my appetite is way better when it previously wasn't. So just kind of highlighting upon where it drops throughout the day has definitely helped me sustain this for a longer period of time, because I've pulled back ages ago just by how I felt, and my relationship with food is I'm the same as we said, you know, I'll take it or leave it at the moment. On Christmas Day, it didn't bother me one bit food. I couldn't care about it at all. So I think that's definitely helped with trying to polish off.
Yeah, the blood glucose thing, honestly, like in this post-show phase, although I know that I've been like insulin sensitive and stuff, I've just made like a routine that's sort of 2 to 3 times a week, just making sure that it's all right, because like eventually you will see a trend upwards as food gets really high. Like and if you're not staying on top of that, it will get to that point, like you say, where appetite just goes. And I think that's what I did last off season. I think I ran out of like this, the like strips or whatever. Never ordered any more. And then once I was out of that routine, then it was loss of pumps, lethargy, like appetite, everything like that. So although it's not like the most important thing, if you're not measuring it, you aren't tracking it, I guess.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I only realised yesterday that I've been using the same needle for about 6 weeks. Because you get like 6 spins of your Lancer, and within each one I normally get like a few jabs out of it. And because I was on the last one, I couldn't be bothered to swap the Lancer. I've been using the same one for well over 6 weeks. And I was wondering why every time I'd be like wincing as I put it in, and it would be fucking killing. But it's probably because it was blunt as anything.
I don't know how you haven't got tetanus.
Yeah, and I also jabbed my dad with it the other day as well, so not ideal. Not ideal.
At first, I bought.
Did you measure that, Jack?
Say again.
Jack Richardson.
Yeah, I was about to ask Jack if he ever got into measuring it at all.
I did.
Did Joe have you measuring it when you were with him for a bit, or?
Yeah, well, I did, and similar to Caitlin, I sort of ran out of the stuff, and I fell out to the routine of it. But it's one of those that I'm sort of like I need to fucking get back on it. But in regards to everything, in regards to appetite and just where I'm at in the off season, it's pretty much everything seems to be sound. Pumps are there, energy's there. I'm just able to not, be a mess.
Where's food at for you in terms of like calories and stuff?
Around about the 4 to 4.5 thousand mark, give or take the training and non-training days. And that seems to be the sweet spot at the moment. I'm trying to not have big jumps in my weight, because I find that's what really fucks me. I find if you're planning on doing a really long off season, it is a balancing act, and you've got to balance your food sources. You can get to a point where you're quite sensitive to a change in food source. You can, you need to make sure you're doing enough cardio to obviously stimulate your appetite, and just balance things with your digestion and everything. And I find that it becomes like there's less room for error the deeper you get into the off season. And it's a little bit more, it takes a little bit more effort.
I know Khifie's just thinking, fuck this. I
was literally just going to say, Khifie, we ain't going to bother asking you.
No, I know your answer already. You're just like, that. Fuck this. I just eat and fucking train. That's all I do. But no, on a serious note, have you?
Only this year, just with like when everything started happening again with Arnold's and stuff like that, and I had quite a bit of traveling involved with it, so it was like happening very, very often. Whenever really pulled back to us a more like maintenance phase, but we did pull food back in terms of just making it easier to eat over having to like always like I'm kind of one that like I will prep my food and take it with me, but it was hard to do that because there was so much, and for the amount of days that I was going away, and sometimes I wasn't staying in apartments. Like for example, if there was sometimes places being booked for me and things like that, and we were in hotels and stuff, it was obviously a little bit harder in terms of getting like access to food and that. And obviously with a lot of stuff happening, just kind of made the call to pull food back a little bit. But I was still like in a very small surplus. Realistically, I would put myself in a small surplus anyway, but that was before really whenever like FitX started happening, and then there was stuff on every week from like the BNBF shows and all that kind of stuff were happening again, and then obviously like the Arnolds, and there was just so much shit happening, and back and forth to Scotland and that. I just really because of that. But I mean, I don't know, I've never really been, I've always just kind of pushed food to what it's been at, but I've never really been one to like, right, whatever I ate yesterday, I'll eat more today kind of thing. Like I've never had that attitude. Like if I do find a certain amount of food that I eat and I'm performing very well off it, and for example, if I've reached a body weight that I am performing very well off of, I will just hold that for maybe as long as I need to hold it. And even like throughout that phase, if I do fancy a little bit more food, I will have a little bit more food. Like that's not going to put me off, but at the same time, I won't push like the good food every single day that I'm eating if I don't need to, because obviously I'm performing very well off it. Like I go more so off of like my performance and training over anything else. I don't really monitor my body weight or that much, unless it's like I'm feeling good and I know that I'm feeling good and training's feeling really good. Then I'll take more into consideration of, right, what is my body weight here? Like, for example, why am I performing better? What is my sleep like here? Do you know what I mean? That's when I'll take more into consideration. But if things are just running normal, or say, for example, if something started going back and performance started going down the drain and shit, then I would look more into, obviously, what can I change up here, or what do I need to do, or do I need to pull back, or am I fucking doing something? Do you know what I mean? That would be the only time that I would ever take that into consideration. But I've never really, to be honest, again, this is my longest off season, so I've never been in that position to like be in a long enough off season to do all these kind of stuff. I've literally been out of prep in an off season for 4, 5, 6 months max, and then back into prep. So it has just been a case of fucking slamming food throughout a 6-month off season just to make sure that I am going to improve. But obviously, with this being my longest off season, I don't know, it's with COVID and things like that. It would really, only time would tell if I took another long off season how I would approach it if none of this stuff was fucking happening and everything was running smoothly, kind of thing. So
Yeah, I mean, from what you said there, a lot of things that you are doing right now is working. Like the fact that you can even, what's the word, like prep year upon year and achieve the results that you do, the progression is pretty good. So when it comes to like blood glucose and things like that, just like if you was in a position where you're struggling, which at the moment you're clearly not, you're clearly progressing and climbing up the ladder, then why bother using it? Until you start noticing maybe other variables that you need to take into consideration. So, no, I totally get what you mean there. Mr. Oh, because there's 2 Jacks in here now. I'm fucking gonna be saying Jack, and it's gonna be like, which one? So I'm gonna call Mr. Thorburn, and then I'm gonna call Jack. We'll call Jack Richardson. We'll call you Jack Richardson.
Yeah.
Competing next year.
Yep, all going
Yes.
well. I'm gonna compete, man. Yeah.
Okay. Have you got any shows in mind or any particular time frames? I'm excited.
I want to do some hard shows, man. That's the aim. I want to go, and next year's about perspective for me. I want to see where I'm at with the best in the country. Essentially, I want to do a 2 bros and see how close I could get to getting a pro card. If I'm there, then fucking brilliant. If not, then again, it's perspective. Because I've never done it, I might do a PCA, see how that goes, and maybe a FitX. But the main priority would be the 2 bros. And depending on how the season's going, then if that allows room for other shows, then I'll do them as well. But I'm thinking about towards the end of the year, just to try and give me a few extra months to grow. Because I think obviously that the main thing that will be stopping me from achieving what I want to achieve is just size and time, really. So I'm just trying to give me some extra time, essentially.
Do you think you do like a PCA show as a warm up?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking of, like a PCA. I'm looking at the Midlands, I believe, in September.
That's always a really good show because it's like it's the closest one to finals alongside London. So you will be going up against like some of the best. I mean, this year, I think we had Alex Lord and Nathan Styles sort of battling it out in the overall. So it's always like really good competitors. And I know that like the sort of the final qualifier before the Arnolds as well. So that was the Graftism. Like the bodybuilding classes had 18, 19, 20 people in. So if you are wanting to go for them harder shows, the ones like September time they're going to be stacked.
Yeah.
Throw yourself in there.
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to it. You know, I'm not really one of those. I've never been one of those that sort of thinks I'm going to delicately pick my season, try and find some easy shows, and just so I can probably try to get a first place. I'd rather come like, I don't know, 3rd, 4th, rather in a very stacked class of future pros or people on the verge of being pros or actually turning pros in those shows, than actually winning an empty class where it's like, one other person just doing it for.
But Jack, you can put it in your bio then, so it's all right.
I have to.
Do you know what are you weighing now? Do you have any idea what sort of class you're going to be in? Because then you could sort of see who you'll be against.
Yeah.
First timers, Jack. First timers.
I was thinking of bikini just because doing a bit of a sex change and just see how that goes.
150 pounds of fucking weight.
240 is where I'm weighing at the moment. I'm wanting to go into the heavies, which is like going up to 220. I would like to be 210 when I'm on stage. That would be great, and that would be like 40 pounds up from my last stage weight, which would be nice. But I'm not going to attach myself to that weight. You know, if I get to 210 and I need to take off more, then I will. But I'm hoping that I'm fitting into the heavyweight and I don't look out of place there. I'm not like at the bottom end, essentially.
It's interesting.
How tall are you?
Sorry.
No, how tall are you, Jack?
I am 5'9".
Okay.
No, I was just saying it's interesting that you touched on stage weight, because I know this time round when I came down, I thought, yeah, I'm going to weigh like 10 pounds more. And it just does not happen like that. I remember put something on the JP forum and Jordan put something on like, and I was weighing about 116, 117. And he said, you're going to have to get to 100 pounds, like realistically. And I was like, yeah, I am, aren't I? And from 2019, you know, I haven't gained any stage weight at all. But obviously, you know, there's different, you know, circumstances like with yourself. But yeah, that stage weight thing, it always baffles me when people focus on it so much, because it literally does not matter.
Yeah,
like, all that matters is
essentially,
what you look like.
It's just a little bit of a motivator, really, to just obviously keep on pushing. But you know, when you diet, you always tend to lose more than you expect. And I'm right, you know, I'm probably going to be like, if I have to go under that 210, I'll be like, oh, that's a shame. But if I get too overly attached, then I'm going to be fat on stage, which is also a shame. So, you know, I'd rather be in my best shape than Fatty McGee.
I mean, anything over like 10, 15 pounds of stage weight, you're talking fucking massive gains regardless, you know what I mean? So, I mean, 40 is obviously got to be a massive thing, but even if you fall like slightly under 40 pounds over your last stage weight, regardless of your last fucking out and being a natty show, it's fucking mental. Like, you know what I mean? But it's well understandable, obviously, using it as like a factor to obviously keep your head in the game, though. Do you know what I mean? That's you can get that definitely. Be exciting. It's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I say, it's perspective, and it's like you said. I'm ready to diet now. I'm sort of craving it, really. I say it all the time because it's just like I haven't seen myself stage lean in years now, and I feel like there's a different physique there, and it's just obviously covered in the layer. So I'm like, I can't wait to see what's underneath. And
yeah, I'm in a very sort of similar situation, Jack. So at the moment, my last stage weight was 167 pounds. Now I'm 211. So in my head, obviously that's a lot of weight, but now I'm thinking like, how much am I actually going to take off? But I don't know. Like you, if I've got to take more off than I because to me, I'd like to think that it's nearly going to be £10. But when you get down to it, are you going to need to take more off? And like you said, if you've got to, you have to, don't you? So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the thing is with yourself, your last season you were absolutely peeled to the bone, and a lot of people, when they improve their physique, not only do they add muscularity, but they also improve their conditioning. And obviously, I believe that you hit pretty much peak conditioning. I don't think you can actually get any leaner than that unless you die. So I think it's more likely for someone like yourself to add that actual stage weight and
to be like on actual honest stage weight. Then yeah, I get you.
Yeah, for sure.
Khifie, how
So
much?
like you as well. I'm craving the actual stage lean diet as well. Because
Yeah, it sounds weird.
8 week mini cuts don't really cut like they're cool, but
They're a little bit of a cock tease, to be fair.
yeah, because that's what's always happened to me. Like you get to the end of it and you're lean. You think, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
and you like do maybe a week.
I could do another week.
Yeah, do another week.
That's 10 weeks.
Easy. I'm getting lean, and I have to convince myself. I've done too many cuts, and I have to convince myself. It's like, don't prep. I'm like, what if I do prep? I was like, no, don't do it. No, it's silly. It's daft. It's nonsense. But yeah,
I know you went. You started coaching yourself, didn't you? Are you going to be coaching yourself for your prep, or have you got a coach in mind? What's the?
Yeah, so I was thinking for a long time, about what am I going to do on prep? Am I going to coach myself? I would like to, I would like to believe that I am able to. Well, I've prepped people for the stage, but when it's yourself, I think it's a completely different story. Especially for the last couple of weeks, the last few weeks, because you can look at yourself, and I've done this before, and you're like, I'm not lean enough, or I'm a little bit too flat, and it gets kind of hard to make the decisions. And even if you are making the right decisions, there is a sense of paranoia. Is this the right decision? And with me not prepping for a good few years, I'm sort of in the boat of having someone by my side and just having a coach, just so I can not have that head fuck, and I could just execute the plan. I could be absolutely certain that is the best look I could possibly give, so I could get a full perspective of where my physique is at its best. And I'm thinking, well, me and AJ have talked a little bit, because I don't really fully trust anyone else other than him. And we worked very well together, and it's not because I stopped the coaching because there was an issue with the coaching itself. It's just because I wanted to obviously try coach myself, just try new things, and just I experienced that side of things, which that's gone really, really well, and I've learned a lot from it. But I just don't want to leave it to risk, essentially.
Yeah, I'm the exact same, mate. Even next year, I'll still have AJ coaching me. I've had him, since 2019. It will be, 3 years in January, since I've been coached by him, which is a fucking long time. But I've even got to a point, and I totally agree with like the experimenting side of things. Because what I do now is I sometimes, well, most of the time I do my own programming, but I just let AJ sort of give me that, okay, that's good, keep doing that sort of thing. And that's sometimes all I need right now.
That's another thing as well, is like AJ is a person that you can talk about and you can still make decisions. It's not like it's a coach that has to take full control. I don't want to work with someone who's got full control. I'm sort of at that point now where I would like a say, but I would still like someone in my corner to help me not fuck up the decisions when, say, my head's susceptible to go. So
yeah,
I feel like that's the sort of best of both worlds. I could still, have a good say of my training, nutrition, and how things go, but it's got, there's obviously the accountability to get shit right.
So AJ's going to be the man.
Yeah, like I say, I don't think I would trust anyone to that extent, because I had a great time with him last time. It was good. It was fun. I think it's always fun to work with someone as well. It makes it less of a lonelier sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you are coaching yourself, you are like, it's just you, essentially. Unless you do have a second eye, then it is just you, and it's like, you could be just in your own bubble at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and that trust is so important as well. Like, I know for a fact that when I was prepping this time round, Tom wanted me to do as well as I wanted to do, and I don't know whether with some coaches maybe they're able to give that to every single client. Obviously I don't know that, but when you find someone that sort of wants it as much as you do, I mean, like when I was on stage, I could literally hear Tom sort of screaming, like shouting, like backstage. He'd come back with me, sort of like I'd be pumping up, he'd be bloody doing the salt for me in the pump up, like there every single step of the way. And I know that AJ, I always see him doing that like shoulder thing with his clients. Like he's
yeah,
always there.
He's good. Yeah, he's like he's cried at my shows. You know, like that's passion. You know, he's got a lot of passion for his clients, and you know, in my head, I thought, you know, if I'm gonna, is there another coach? You know, and it obviously entered my head. I thought, I don't, even if I go with a coach who's very renowned or whatever, is the attention to detail going to be there? Is that sort of rapport, that trust or whatever? Because even working with someone new, you know, you've got to build up trust, and it's a lot of wasted time. And that's time that I don't necessarily have. I don't want to spend the first half of my prep thinking, this isn't one. This isn't obviously going to work out. So it's also a safe bet at the end of the day.
I absolutely agree. And I'm really, really looking forward to it because, you know, even in your Superman fucking costume, mate, you're like, this guy's a fucking freak. The size of him.
Fetish comments, which I didn't expect. My innocent mind did not expect that. But
I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man, I must admit. I used to play the game on PlayStation 2, but since then, that's how far I've gone. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I'm just like a full-blown nerd. To be fair, like I'm not even trying to hide it anymore. I would literally dress up and go to the supermarket.
But who's going to say anything to you?
Sorry?
Probably not many. Who's going to say anything to you? Probably not many.
No.
I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. I'll just let you do. Should we
Yeah, George, I'll just add quickly.
Yeah, go on.
That Jack, I think a lot of people are quite excited to see what you do because you will be the prime example of what everyone else should be doing in terms of training like a beast, eating like a beast naturally, getting to a very good standard naturally, and then going down the enhanced route. And then the results that you're showing now are what people should be like, because everyone's, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are doing it the wrong way. So jumping on when they haven't mastered everything else. And you're basically going to show everyone up. I know you will. Like, you know, this is your first year. It may take a couple of years, but you're certainly going to show everyone what happens when you do everything beforehand, get that together, and then you do it. So I think a lot of people are excited about that.
Yeah. On that note, how long do you think someone should be training naturally before they consider the assistance? Would you say?
I think it is very dependent on. One of the things that solidified my decision to jump on was, you know, having the experience of, you know, nailing nutrition and training naturally, but also having the actual, you know, just telling myself that this is actually what I do want to do. You know, I do want to be a bodybuilder. I've done bodybuilding, you know, I've done 9 natural shows, and I've enjoyed the process of it. So I'm going to do this as a career. I want this as a career. And I feel like people will make this big life decision and go on steroids before they've even been to a show and to try to turn pro. I feel like that is just absolutely mental, you know? So I think not only should you have like a good few years of training, but nail your knowledge on training itself, nutrition, but actually experience bodybuilding first naturally. I feel like if you wanted to be a professional bodybuilder and you're going to make a decision like going on steroids, have not just 1 season, I would say 2 to solidify that. Then you're absolutely golden, I would say, you know, to make that decision.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Jack, because if you go down the assisted route for a show straight away, you may learn that you don't even like bodybuilding.
Yeah,
but like we haven't even thought about that, and then by that time you've already made sort of life-changing decisions, haven't you?
Yeah,
and there will be people that do that and then think I'm never going to bodybuild again. By that time, you potentially made sort of decisions that are going to impact you forever.
Yeah, like, you know, these people will be like, oh shit, you know, I'm struggling to now have a family because I was impatient when I was, you know, when I was younger. I didn't think it through. Because
I think one of the biggest problems, like one of the biggest problems with the younger side jumping on too quick is the fact of them not realizing that steroids aren't going to make them fucking huge unless they've nailed the variables that they need to nail.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest problems of why there's too many jumping on so quick.
Yeah.
And then once they've jumped on and then they've been like, right, shit, I know fuck all. So if I'm going to keep it going, I need to get a coach who's going to tell me what to do and what to take. So then they're going to tell them what to take. They're probably still not going to nail the variables outside of that to do with food and training because they fucking trained like a wee girl for like the past year. So loads of that kind of stuff comes into it. But I think that, I don't know, if you've got like maybe between 2 and 4 years of decent training under your belt and you have absolutely like brainwashed the life out of fucking nutrition and the training side of things, then if it's what you want to do, then yeah, fair enough. But like Jack said, at least do a season first or do something to do with bodybuilding that's either going to be a long off season or a long-ish enough diet phase with some form of goal at the end, whether it be in a competition or a photo shoot or something like that, just to see if that's what you want to do. And if you don't want to do it, then don't enter, obviously, that kind of side of things. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's patience as well. Like a lot of people will go on steroids because they're impatient. They want results fast, and doing it naturally first will teach you patience because the progress is a lot slower. But that's what bodybuilding is about. It's about doing things patiently. And I believe I trained for over 6 years before I transitioned to being an assistant bodybuilder. And by that point, I was patient. So when people jump on steroids and they're impatient, they will be impatient with things like the cycles, and they'll be like, right, fuck, I'm just going to double what I took last cycle because I want fucking results, not even just considering the side effects from that or having any perspective of longevity, So I think that also just taking your time to be natural will also teach you patience, which is the main sort of aspect about bodybuilding, really. To be successful is being patient.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Caitlin, you the same on that front?
I've definitely learned a lot in regards to patience. I think that is like, I did a post on that, and I definitely used to want to turn pro by a certain age or something, and that now has just sort of been pushed to the side, because like when I've sat down and just thought, does it matter? Like you get maybe 4 weeks of buzz, oh my god, you turned pro at whatever age, then it does not matter at all. Definitely like such a massive mindset shift, and honestly, like a rushed look is a worse look. I will say that now, especially females. Like it definitely is. So I completely agree with what Jack has said there. And like the just doing a show or at least 2 seasons naturally, that is like so important, because it's one of them things, like as soon as you get on stage whether you're going to love it or hate it. And then from there, obviously, it's a case of like a needs analysis, like how far you want to take it. Is it a hobby? Is it going to be something that is your career? And then also like having good people around you to actually tell you whether you've got a shot. Because if you have the worst, genetics in the world, and even if you're like the hardest worker, I think there's probably a threshold that you could, get to with that. I don't know what everyone else thinks about that, but there's definitely a component of genetics in there, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I think, and I've seen it so many times before, people compete once and they never do it again. And you sometimes see this guy has a great season or looks great, and he's posted on Instagram, and then I flick through who I'm following. I'm like, hang on, I haven't seen that guy in years. What's he up to? I'm sure we know someone out there that's done that. So, going down that sort of route, first of all, before even experiencing any sort of state, because some people absolutely hate prep. It's not for them, and that's fine. But I think your actions need to, what's that saying? What's the saying? Your actions reflect your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, the saying, whatever the saying is. And, you know, if you want to be a pro like Jack does, you know, you need to do what you need to do in terms of being a pro, you know. If you just go to the gym here and there, enjoy doing that, then I don't think you need to be going down that route unless, you know, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But I don't think long term that's going to be beneficial. Anyway, let's do some questions. This one's quite a good one from CM Physique. Who would win in an arm wrestle? Now, obviously, we've got the two main people I'm thinking is Jack and Khifie. I don't know. I wouldn't be involved in it. Fuck that. I'd just, yeah. There's no.
Do you ever get involved in any of those? I turn away straight away.
Yeah.
Like,
I've really hurt my shoulder, and I remember being in college, and you know, I thought it'd be funny to just arm wrestle the class. I was in a group. I was doing IT at the time, so it wasn't really like a crazy competition. But by the end of it, I really fucked my shoulder for like weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, never again.
Because you know Ian Valier.
Yeah.
Have you seen the scar on his tricep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did that arm wrestling. He blew he's like, what did he do? I think the bone came out of his arm. I think.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so he was arm wrestling. He snapped. It was either that or his tricep snapped. One of the two. Come out of the arm. Yeah.
I'm like that now. I avoid anything that will sort of give me doubt in my head about my training. So when I used to play football, when I started bodybuilding at 17, I used to bottle the 50-50 tackles because I knew if I got injured from that would affect my training. So that's when I knew, okay, football, I'm sort of done here. And even like arm wrestling, like if someone told me, come arm wrestle, come do this, come do that, I'd say no, because I know something would happen, or I'd be scared if something happened, and that would just affect things. Like even Caitlin going to this rave on New Year's Eve, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to be on my feet all night. My shins are going to be hurting, my ankle, because I know what it's like standing up and two-stepping every. I've done
just wear those Air Maxes of yours, lad. The bubble will be sound.
There's no way I'm wearing nice shoes to a rave. Fuck that. But
no.
Even that, I'm thinking, am I going to wake up next day and going to be able to train because I'm going to be fucked?
I know.
You ain't training the next day.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel about that, and it's one of them things, and that is why it's like a 1 to 2 time thing a year. And you know, you said that this is going to be the last thing before prep. Is it worth just thinking, right, this is a mental sort of break, and this is going to allow me for the next 1 to 2 years to just
mental break.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I get what you mean. Like, I think, oh my God, is this going to affect my training in any way whatsoever? And like with everything, it is going to play in your mind when it means
what
so
sort
much
of rave is
to
it?
you.
It's a drum and bass rave. I have no idea. No idea. I would say
you're going to be hilarious in that, lad.
I'm not being right. You can't vlog me though.
No. I said I'll vlog, but am I going to really carry a camera around in the fucking event with loads of sweaty people?
Interviews in the toilets, mate.
But no, honestly, on that note as well, like just the mental sort of. I know I've gone off the question here completely, but I've actually this week told all my clients like I'm not doing any check-in sort of feedback with because I would normally do like the screencast, I record it, video it. I've just told myself this week I'm not doing any of that, and that's the first time I've done that in 3.5 years of me being self-employed now. Like I've done work every single day, like even on Christmas Day I do a little bit of work, and even just so far as obviously Tuesday, I feel tons better since I felt incredibly guilty. Because you know what it's like you run a business and people are paying you for your service and you tell them, I'm not doing any feedback this week. They're going to be like, well, what the fuck? I'm paying for this service. And I kind of felt a little bit, I don't know, it was challenging for me to like build up confidence to tell people that. But ever since I've done that, like, I think I deserve a break, you know, and it's fine to just relax a little bit, and you don't need to work every single day and don't need to be on your laptop all the time. I'm sure we've all had it just through coaching people, and it's hard to take time off when you are a coach as well. But yeah, I'm like it's made me look forward to the weekend even more, knowing that I can kind of just relax a little bit. I haven't got to worry about bringing my laptop. I'm not going to do any of that sort of stuff. I'm just going to enjoy it, and then going into the new year, game on. You know, I'm ready to compete, ready to do whatever.
I think one of the big things like that people don't realize, you know, like you have these genetic freaks that they'll turn pro and they'll do a few good seasons and then they'll go off the radar. And I don't think a lot of the time it's health or injury. I think it's mental burnout. And I don't know whether it's worth sort of having them 1 to 2 times a year, that although maybe you don't feel like you need it, you sort of nip it in the bud before you know, lose your passion for it or whatever. I feel like all of us probably never would, but it, you know, it's one of them things like, do you have the, you know, the 1 to 2 social occasions a year, and if that prevents you from, you know, for the other 363 days a year not, you know, deviating, then, you know, so be it. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like it's potentially like you could think, right, I need to be on it every single fucking day, and you probably feel a little bit guilty if you go to one of these things, but it's like, oh, this is not part of my identity of a bodybuilder who's on it. And you'll probably have some people like, oh, I didn't think you drank or did this or that. And you're like, well, I don't usually. This is me having a one-off, but that one-off occasion will do fuck all in regards to the grand scheme of things. And it's always because, again, bodybuilding is all about the grand scheme of things. It's all about the long term. And I think that's the best way to sort of view it. And you need to think this is like a drop in the ocean in comparison to your progression. But in regards to your experience of life itself, it's probably a really big contribution, because, you know, these are probably lifelong memories of, you know, being younger that you probably won't have the opportunity to do when, you know, potentially bodybuilding is not a thing. And I think you're right. You know, people do tend to burn out because they're just sick of the monotony, and they haven't allowed themselves any sort of break from that, because they've just thought, I need to be a bodybuilder. You know, I'm known as someone who's on it all the time, so I need to be on it all the time. So, you know, it could be a little bit tricky to sort of pull away from that for maybe a day or 2 out of the year.
Yeah, it's something that I've even since I've been single. So I've been single now for like 6 months, and you know, just starting to realize there's actually, I can do more with my life than, like, when I was in a relationship. Obviously it's very routine, you know each other, you get lazy, you get comfortable, but I'm kind of realizing now I need to actually come out of my shell a little bit. And obviously it's a little bit too late now because I'm competing next year and I'm not going to be able to do many things, but certainly, like, I was very much sitting there debating it, like, should I go, should I do this, am I going to take drugs, this sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, if it happens, it happens. Just enjoy myself and not worry about that side of things. And you can do that, and, you know, I'm going to be all right. I'm still going to do well outside of that. So yeah, it's something that I still struggle with massively, even more so as I've got more into bodybuilding. I've got more serious, and in my off seasons when I was younger, I used to do more things off plan, and now I'm, you know, treating my off season like a prep. And I do believe you have to go through phases like that, and I do absolutely love what I do, but I sometimes get stuck in that and realize that, and I don't realize that there's, you know, other things out there that I can do and still do what I do on a day-to-day basis and succeed at that. So yeah, so it's a big struggle for me. I need to work on it massively next year, but it's not gonna happen with prep, no way. We didn't answer the question. I don't know who would win in arm wrestle. I'm not including myself in it, so I'm not involved.
Khifie's got to be up there.
I'd probably fuck everybody up, to be honest.
Yeah, I reckon it's between.
I'm a left-handy, so how are you with your left hand?
I can use any hands. I'll use no hands.
Okay. I'm left-handed, but I don't think I want to go up against you, unfortunately. So we'll skip that one. Your proudest lift, Khifie, I'll start with you. What's your proudest lift so far?
320 triple.
That's fucking
on the dead.
That's so nice.
For a dead stop. I reckon if I touch and go, that I'd get like 6 or 7. But
where's your limit with that? like, where is your limit going to be with that, do you think?
Impossible to say.
Yeah.
I reckon he's got a world record in him.
If I like, if that was my goal, like it's not my, it genuinely isn't my goal to lift a very, very, very heavy deadlift. Do you know what I mean? Like my goal's not to set records in weightlifting or anything like that. Like I genuinely do just enjoy to lift heavy, like in training. Do you know what I mean? That is just like a normal thing, and it just obviously so happens that like I'm one of these people as well as like my all-time PBs are like squat, bench, and deadlift. Do you know what I mean? I don't have like PBs on leg press and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't treat that stuff as like PBs or anything like that. I thrive off putting extra weight on a bar. Do you know what I mean? That's like my thing, and it always has been growing up, and I feel as if that's why it still is a thing now. And it's like I don't know how to really like describe it really. That is really just my main thing, but I don't have like any limits or anything like that. Like if it does get to a day where I end up deadlifting over 400 kilo, it gets to a day where I end up deadlifting over 400 kilo. I'm not saying that's my goal, but my goal is to forever just keep progressing that. Right now, short term, I would like an 800-pound deadlift, which is 361. I think it's like 361 or 362. But that was only because 700-pound deadlift was my goal for so long, and I hit it so quick. And then I moved from 320, or it was like 318 or something like that. I done 320, and then I moved to 330, like within like 2 weeks. And then I moved to having the goal of get comfortable with 320. So then I could be confident that something like a 340 or a 345 would be there. And then that's just edging me closer. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. Even like it's different body weights and things like that. I know like a lot of people do class like being at a lower body weight and lifting maybe the same weight as what they done when they were 20 pounds heavier. I mean, I don't know. I'm just that kind of sad act that's just it's that a PB. Like I don't know. I wouldn't get like if I deadlifted 300 kilo at 100 kilo body weight and then deadlifted 300 kilo at 90 kilo body weight, I'd just be deadlifting 300 kilo again. I've done it before. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to get the satisfaction of what I got when I deadlifted it for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Like when I locked out 330, I was like, fucking hell, man. I am like fucking God. Do you know what I mean? You get that like little bit after you've done it. Do you know what I mean? You have a fucking unbelievable session.
Yeah.
But even when I done the 330 in the competition, I was like, I'd done the 330. Everybody was like going fucking mental on that. Like everybody was going crazy. And I was like, right, I've just matched my PB here. Great. I've not progressed. I've not done anything better. Do you know what I mean? I put it down and that was it kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, like it was really nice seeing everybody go crazy at a competition, things like that, which was different. But it was like, I never got, it's the feeling after doing it, I think, is what I crave the most. Maybe not necessarily doing it, but it's the feeling after it. But
do you, on that note, I know because obviously you did compete in, you know, this year. Do you get more of a thrive of lifting that weight off the floor and everyone like, yeah, come on, yeah, and done like a incredible weight and got like a record, or are you someone that thrives more off standing on stage, which I'm guessing is probably the answer, and you know, winning, for example, like you did back when you last competed, you know, you get more thrive off that essentially.
Yeah, definitely off a stage, 100%. Like, don't get me wrong, like that competition thing that I done was like a one-off thing, and it was really just kind of like it was, and it was never, I never trained for it. It wasn't a goal or anything like that kind of thing. I got told about it, and like we were really close friends with the people that have the gym and that was hosting the competition. So it was like a bit of support for them and that as well. And obviously it was, do you know what I mean? It was just one of them things that we were going to be near where the place was, where it was happening and that, and just kind of worked out very well. But it's definitely going to be off the stage, like especially the last time. I know everything did go to plan last time on stage, and we did have a really good like day at the show, and that was just like that broke me down into tears kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that was the one time that I've actually ever broke down into tears over something that's been like not something that's really hurt me. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew how much went into it, and especially because the show kept getting cancelled, and I was able to like mentally more than anything else, because I knew I was at the show. I was like a day out, and then the show got cancelled, and I got faced with like another month of dieting when I was ready for the show. And it was like at 4 weeks prior to the show, I was like, fuck, I can't do this. Like literally cannot do this. But I knew I was going to do it because it was like something that I really, really wanted. And the fact that I was able to get what I really wanted, that kind of just gave me that little thing of like, I've done what I had to do, and this is the outcome. So like that also gave me that extra boost of, no matter how unrealistic something is that I really want, I know I'll be able to get it if I do what needs to be done. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, that's something that's kind of always stuck with me. And it's like, even going into like next year, like I'm setting, like I put myself under a lot of pressure, especially going into next year. Like I've got nothing to lose going into next year, into like my first kind of main pro debut against like the best of the best. But it's always like, I am still shooting high regardless. I know what my goals are, and I know what I really, really want. And even afterwards, like obviously I'm in the process of ticking the boxes now of the goals that I want now. And then obviously after that, when like loads of stuff changes again, and obviously my goals move, it's still going to be the same kind of attitude. And it's obviously the same attitude within training as well. It's just, I'll go through a phase where I'll be like, fuck, I really want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like whether that be do a specific set on squats or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Something just to get that kind of feeling afterwards as well. It's just, I don't know, I think it all comes down to passion more than anything else. I feel as if that's really what can take you further than anything, not necessarily how gifted you are with anything. I feel as if you're passionate about something and you do actually want it, then it's just kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the start.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I agree on that. What was
I was about to say, what was the question again?
Yeah, your proudest lift. Yeah. Anyone else got it doesn't have to be recent. I'm guessing it just can be whenever you did a.
I was pretty gassed when I first benched 2 plates aside, you know.
Yeah, that was such a big thing when you were younger.
Yeah, right. I remember just be like, I remember after that lift, I was like, oh my God, I've done it.
How long
I'm
did
now
it take
massive.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Like the first session?
I just walked in, I was like, oh, yes. Cool. I remember the rep being like forever. I was like, you know, it seemed like years the rep did. But, you know, it's crazy, man, because I still remember that. And there's some, like, obviously, I've lifted more weight. And there's some sessions that I've just, like, there's some PBs that I've completely forgot about, but I'll always remember that one.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, I see some people like they've never stepped in the gym in the whole entire life, and they can just go in there and bench press whatever. It's like, what the fuck? I remember when I first started, I couldn't bench press the bar. Like the bar was coming down like this. It wasn't a straight line. I was shaking like a shitting dog. And some people just go in there. Like now I can just see some people go in there, they put 60 kilos on and they just fucking do it. And I'm just thinking, they are so far ahead of the game compared to me when I first started, because I can just about do that fucking bar. I'd say mine's probably my bench press when I was like, I think like 18 when I was at uni, I did like 110 for free. But I can't do bench press because I do it for like 4 weeks and I just get injured. I'm like, fuck this, take it out, no point. So it's just an exercise that I don't bother doing, but that's probably my best. Nothing fancy. Anyone else? Thorburn, you've had
I hate talking about previous lifts because it makes me sound like an old man. Because like I don't think I'd get
anywhere near. I used to lift this much.
Back in my day, I think when I was 18, I'd done a 200 squat in uni, and like the whole gym was watching me. Whether it was because it was a lot of weight or because I was losing my shit before going up to it, probably a bit of both. But like the whole gym was watching me doing it, and that was quite cool.
That's fucking class.
Caitlin, you're bound to have one.
You what? Sorry.
You're bound to have one.
There's two that sort of come to mind.
The deadlift in your back garden.
Yeah, deadlift in the back garden. That was always fun.
Who was
I was on a
on that note? was your mum? Was it your mum in the background, or was it?
My mum was in a lot of them, spotting me, and she was actually really good.
I remember.
I broke some of like the what are they called?
Even
The
slabs.
stones, but to me that meant that I wasn't controlling the eccentric enough. So next week we tidied that up. But yeah, no, my best lift, we're actually on a mini cut at the time, and we literally slashed calories to like 1,000, but it just shows like how mental it is. And that was like 164.5. But unless that's 4 plates, I don't want to hear it.
I love that.
But like I did do bench like for a few sessions when I was at uni before, like when it was locked down. I did a bit of bench because I thought, why not? And I actually got it to 80 for 3. So yeah, that's probably all right, but that's about it.
Class. That's class.
Thank you.
Got to take into consideration your weight and your height.
And a lot of people don't really, like I said, I think I said this in the first
80
podcast.
kilo for 3.
That is actually
Fucking hell.
Like I said this in like I don't think you look short. Like when you see someone in a video, you can kind of predict sometimes whether they look fucking really tall or whether they're like short. But when I look at your videos, I don't think you're like someone who is as short as what you are. You know, I think I
am legitimate midget. I am.
So it makes, if anything, to me, it makes it even more impressive. Right, this one's a good one, Malik. If you had to be coached by one other person on the podcast, who would it be?
Caitlin.
You know what? I'd probably go Khifie because I want him to set me like bench, deadlift, squat. I want to be doing all of that shit. I really do. I'd love to do that. I'll go Khifie.
Mate, I'd say maybe Caitlin, because Caitlin's in the hands of 2 good coaches at the moment. So hopefully that would like get passed down potentially.
Saying that,
Jack, you've had a few.
Sorry.
No, go on, Caitlin's fine.
I'd actually say Thorburn, mainly because I feel like you know the most about female categories out of all of them. Like I see you, Rochelle, like Ivana every now and again.
Is that because I know about the categories or just I love a bird?
Well, as a byproduct, you probably
opened
know
my Explore page the other day and I was devastated what it looked like.
Yeah.
I was like, if anybody sees this, they think I'm a perv. But no, to be fair, I am a fan of the female categories. I do follow a lot of them, especially the ones that like train hard and stuff like that. And I know, Caitlin, you follow a lot of them as well. So yeah, I know what you mean.
It's hard because you would gain this knowledge from different areas with everybody in this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
all of us.
I don't know. Yeah.
You could have a coaching round table. You could hire all of us.
You know what? I'm inclined to probably try Khifie just because how he trains now and how he approaches stuff is a lot like how I used to.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun doing that shit. And I know I would have a lot of fun. You know, I'd probably break myself, but I'd have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, fair. Good answers. What are you most excited for 2022? I don't even know. Obviously competing for me, that's about it really.
Yeah, man.
Outside of that, anyone else?
Being able to see my penis.
But hopefully, George, getting up fucking north, lad.
Yes, and that as well. Yes.
Are you any further forward with that?
Not really, because of like Christmas and stuff. You know, it's slow.
Everyone seems to be off work till the 4th of January, so I knew it would be slow this sort of period of time, but we'll get as soon as they get, because they sent an email out to me about them being closed, or wrote it in an email, so I'm aware of that. So there's no point in me trying right now, but as soon as the new year comes, you know, I'm going to make a big push to get us up north, Jack, because you know it's something that we've discussed it crazy amounts of times, but it's something that we both want to do. You know, the environment up there compared to where I am right now, and I mean Jack's environment's good, but I know he'd much prefer being up north, especially now he's got a partner. He wants to see her more.
Mate, my car can't cope with it much longer.
Yeah, you travel like 4 hours plus. You know, up there it's ridiculous.
I've even considered it. I remember mentioning it to AJ. You know, because obviously there's the right people there. point to the right people.
And it's not even like sometimes people say you got to take that risk. I don't even. It's not even a risk, you know. It's like fair for me. It's just fair. It's fairly obvious. Like that's where I belong up there. I've got a really good bunch of people, a good circle up there that support me, understand, and that's who I am as a person. And I don't look at it as like, oh my god, I'm going to regret doing this or anything like that. I think because when you think about it on paper, it's a big move. Like for me, I'm North London. I'm going to be moving 2.5 hours up north, being away from my whole entire family essentially. So it's obviously a big move, but it doesn't faze me. I'm like, just get me up there. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do things, and I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, big effort in 2022 to get that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, before prep we'll be somewhere, which should be cool. And
I think so. Most of us would be just competitions, really, won't it? Caitlin, what about yourself? Because you're off season, aren't you?
Yeah, off season for just a long time. Unfortunately, there's nothing really to report. I guess it's just I'm excited to try and just get really strong. That's literally it. It's just going to be like the same shit over and over again. So that's all I can say.
Tom asked about the predictions for the 2022 Arnolds. Obviously, I'm guessing everyone's seen the lineup.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's favourite is going to be Brandon Curry, but I think Brett will do some really good damage.
Yeah. Let me see if I can actually get the list up because I can't actually remember everyone who's in it. See if I can share this. I think, did they post
it was a really good lineup, yet there wasn't many of the top Olympians on it apart from Curry, I think.
There's one
so
but he's fallen back a bit now.
Yeah, it's one of them where I'm actually quite excited because I feel like it could literally.
It could be anyone's. I'm excited to see how Nathan does against these guys as well.
I really hope he can get there.
Let me see if I can actually share. There we go. You can see this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the underdog for me is obviously going to be Brett, essentially. It'll be a good battle between Nathan and Samson. Again, I think that was good. Regan is climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, I was going to say Regan is.
From what I've seen, so far he's been progressing great. Cedric, I don't know if he'll do it. He's one of those people that are just 50-50. I mean, when he comes in,
but if he comes in 100%, like he's going to be a front runner. So that's always the case with him, isn't it?
I do think Cedric's been off more times than he's been on recently. Yeah. So I'm not really going to be seeing him like at the placing high. I'm not expecting him to be placing high, but again, there's always the chance he can shock everyone. I do think Regan's. I forgot about Regan. I do think he's got a very good chance of probably being top 3, top 4. To be fair, because of how drastically he's sort of changed, even from the Olympia to the next show he did after that. It was crazy difference.
I don't think Akeem. I think he's. I don't know. He's very on and off sometimes. Like I've seen him look great, and sometimes I've seen him look terrible. I don't know of him. I think he's very poor from the back, just genetically. I think. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's reached his sort of max with his back. I'm not sure. It's it's gonna be a hard one. Classic. I mean, it's quite. I'd probably say
Terrence, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brion. Yeah. I'd say Terrence. Yeah. Men's physique. Don't really, anyone follow men's physique really? Not really bothered about it.
Missy Truscott probably fitness.
Oh yeah, Missy all day.
Missy Truscott.
It surprised me that she didn't get the O.
It's crazy how they do that sort of stuff. Like a lot of effort goes into that sort of thing.
Can you imagine, right? Remember how rough you felt when you were competing?
Yes.
Like, the thought of getting up off your chair was pretty rough. And then you've got this lot doing like backflips and splits and stuff, and it's like, what? I can't even comprehend how hard that is.
Yeah.
Not only doing it, but the fact that they'll do their training session in the morning, and then they'll go and have to do tumbling and stuff like that in the evening afterwards. Like,
it's fucking crazy. It's crazy.
I bet a lot get injured a lot,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you get more agile on your feet when you're leaner and you can move about a little bit quicker. But when you're on, like, some of these girls are probably on very low calories anyway, and you're on top of that probably doing shit ton of cardio. I couldn't think of anything worse. I would not do that. Figure.
Oh, Sid Gillen.
Sydney
Yeah,
Gillan, probably. Jessica Reyes Padilla's great, though. So
see, that this is the issue with figure for me. The top three at the Olympia, I don't know if you all follow it. The top three at the Olympia rarely ever change.
Yeah.
However, the winners at pro shows, they seem to be going for like more mass, more condition, and they're almost like women's physique girls, which just scare me.
Because
how do, like, it's one of them, like, how do people that maybe have beautiful shape, very feminine, not granite but still very well conditioned, how do they then get to the Olympia? It's
unless they make the decision to throw that in the bin, take a shitload of drugs, and but then
it doesn't reflect the top three, and they'll never break that top three if they've done irreversible changes, if that makes sense. It's it's a very odd one.
I agree on that. And bikini, although saying that,
Phoebe's in it.
Phoebe, I watched at the Arnold. She was great at the Arnold, so I was buzzing for her when she won.
Probably the Brazilian. Can't even pronounce it.
Elisa.
Previous Olympia winner, I think, actually.
Wellness.
Borges, probably.
And the wheelchairs. I don't follow the wheelchair myself.
What do you think? What do you think about women's physique not being in that? Or men's 212?
Yeah, that is crazy. Why? Why has that happened?
No,
because men's, like, surely men's 212 is bringing in a lot of attention. Probably, I don't know what they have to, because it's not like with the women's physique, they could probably, like, right, we want to limit the muscularity of the females, but you can't say that in regards to the men's, because you are open,
It doesn't make sense to me, because, like, Clarida, John Jewett, people like, they've got massive followings.
And they'd all probably do it.
They only really had when Flex Lewis was about, 12 used to be at the Arnold's all the time. Now he's not about. He sort of fucked it off.
It can't be a money thing, because there's no, like, they've increased the prize money for the Open next year, so it's not a money issue. Like, it's not like it's, I don't know, it's very strange. I think it's more exposure for the sport. I think it gives, gives people that aren't, like, for me, if I was I wouldn't be a 250-pound bodybuilder on stage. No way. Like, I already know my genetics would probably be around a 212 bodybuilder. So, when you don't want to go up against someone who's 250 when you're 212, right? Unless you're Sean Corrida, but that's a different story. Other questions. Should have actually picked these before I actually decided to press record. I train fasted as I only have time. Should I eat the rest of the? How should I eat for the rest of the day? So basically, he's asking, if I train first thing in the morning, how should I eat for the rest of the day? So if you was training fasted, what would your post-workout look like? First of all, would you still have your usual sort of post-workout if it was early in the morning, or would you change it? I would still have my usual post-workout, not much change. I'll just flip it around to my sort of usual schedule.
I'd probably not, like you said, meals would probably be exactly the same. The only thing I'd say is you might want to have something that's similar as your post-workout meal, pre-bed potentially, but just have something that's a little slower digesting. So maybe if you have like an oats, for example, you'd have that pre-bed, because then that's acting as your sort of pre-workout meal then. That's probably what I do. I'd probably opt for an intra-workout as well, just so you're not training with nothing in the tank. So if something sits well with you, having a minimum of, say, 25 carb. And then post-workout becomes very important then, because you need to start smashing that in. But I'd say definitely have an intra.
Intra is 100%, and I wouldn't train without an intra workout. Even during the day,
Yeah.
I wouldn't train without an intra workout.
I'm bad in the fact that I'll never train fasted as well.
Yeah.
If it means I have to get up an hour earlier, even though I don't want to, I'll always get up an hour earlier to have food. I don't know whether that's just me being sort of not superstitious, but just so routine with it. Like I always have to train after a pre.
I've just because I'm not used to it. I feel I've tried it before. I feel sick.
Yeah.
You know, feel horrible. I suppose you can obviously adjust to it, but you know, I would probably just opt for just having the meal beforehand. Just because I'm used to it, but you can adjust to a lot of shit. Really.
I always feel time before training is important as well. Just time for your body to be like ready, just in general ready, and even hydration is probably one of the biggest things as well, because I don't know, like I think if you're training fasted, realistically you are just getting up and going to the gym. Do you know what I mean? So if you're just getting up, do you know what I mean? You know that kind of way where you've woke up and you've kind of maybe jumped a little bit and you feel sick from that.
Yeah.
If you're carrying that into training, then realistically it's going to be a lot harder for you to carry out a good performance in training. So I would probably, like, don't get me wrong, if that was the only thing left in the world, I would, like, nothing to add to what Thorburn just said, but at the same time it's like maybe, like, unless you finish at like midnight and you have to get back up at like 6, maybe don't jeopardize sleep that way. But if you've got the time, I would get up and give yourself time and just get something in, even if you don't get like a full meal in, just give yourself time before training. Allow yourself to wake up more than anything else, because if you're going into training not woken up regardless of fucking food, like Jack said though, I mean, you can adapt to anything, but it wouldn't be my first go to.
I'd always make sure I'd have a litre in me, at least. It obviously depends, but I would always try and make a big effort to get a litre at least. I normally would stack that with like electrolytes from like supplement needs, or even like the AM priming. I'd probably add that in first thing in the morning to wake myself up. I used to actually put just salt. I just used to make salt water. That used to perk me up a little bit. Just literally, I'd get a little bit of squash water and I'd put like fucking 2 grams of salt in it and just neck it. It used to be grim, but it used to just sort of get me hydrated and sorting me out a little bit quicker. But other than that, you know, just make sure that you are, like you said with Khifie, giving yourself plenty of time. Katie, you got anything to add to that at all?
No, I haven't. I've trained like on no foods like a couple of times. I did it on Christmas Day actually, because I went and opened the gym at 8. But I actually had a really good session, but I think that's just because I didn't even think about it. Like I think the more you think about, I've not got any food in me, the more that you'll probably overthink it. But yeah, to be honest with you, I've got nothing to add. I think you've covered that very well.
Yeah. We'll do, I don't know how long we've been on, probably an hour and 20, something like that. Do me one more.
Make it good.
Yeah. Okay, this one's a bit of a little bit of a debate. Do you think there's too much emphasis on perfect form nowadays?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act. You know, you've got to have the balance of intensity and the balance of execution. You can very easily swing one way or the other, and if you get that perfect balance, you're going to make a great amount of progress. But this is where if you focus too much on form, then you're not going to be probably lifting with a good amount of intensity. You're probably not heavy enough for yourself. And this, you've got to sort of again just balance it out, really. Just find that middle ground between the two.
Like with certain movements as well, if your form is like immaculate, you're not going to be able to generate enough like velocity in the movement, and you need to generate that velocity to get, like, I'm not going to get too scientific with it, but you need, like, some movements, you need to have that speed to get all the sort of muscle recruitment that you need to get like the most out of it. So if you're doing, it's like when sort of Derek Lunsford went to doing all those slow reps and stuff like that with Ben Bukowski back in the day. Like, you're not going to recruit certain muscle fibers that when you're doing like ballistic stuff. So there's that as well. My argument also is, like, say if you do a set with perfect form, but then you stop because you've hit failure at that perfect form, what happens if you grind out 2 or 3 more with maybe like 70%, 75% form? Are you telling me that because they're not perfect form, instantly there's no hypertrophy occurring? Are you telling me that the person that stopped when it was perfect form, are you telling me they're going to get the same from the set that the person that did 5 more reps that were like 75%, maybe not too amazing? You tell me that they're level there? But then there's the argument that you're just creating more fatigue by doing that. So there's an argument to both, but
yeah, just balancing the two.
I think it depends on the exercise as well. With something like a dumbbell shoulder press, once you hit failure, you're not getting another one out unless someone just grabs your elbow. But like, you know, I don't know if you've used sort of what we actually did on Sunday. We do 1 set of the prime upper back row. We do 1 set, like, you know, perfect form, and then we do a back off, which like we tried to basically race each other to 20 reps. And you know, when you see JP just gripping and just ripping it, like it wasn't the prettiest, but the feeling afterwards, like back felt like it was torched. So yeah, I genuinely think that you're limiting yourself if you're going to stop as soon as the slightest thing is maybe off.
Yeah. Khifie, agree?
Yeah, I think another thing as well, that a lot of this gets thrown about a lot, and I think it gets thrown about for the wrong reasons, because if you look at it from a real perspective in terms of success, leaving clues, look at any successful bodybuilder, and I'm talking like top level, like Olympia level, open bodybuilders, regardless of what they've done years ago or what they're doing now, or what they're doing, what they're using, or what they're taking, all that kind of stuff, their genetics. None of them don't train like fucking animals. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's you, especially like in the kind of naturals, you will see it being thrown about, success leaves clues, but nobody ever follows that. Do you know what I mean? It's easy enough to say, yeah, success leaves clues, but you still train like a fucking pussy. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to go about throwing that kind of saying about, please do that. Do you know what I mean? Please follow that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows the way that I train, and like, that'll always be the way that I train. I won't change up my training. And it's, I don't know, like, my form's not like, you can break form but still stay on the muscle, like what you're just saying. Like, imagine if there is a few more reps there and you potentially fall to like 75% of perfect form. Like, it's a hard one. It's a very debatable topic, but I mean, it's
just build a physique where no one can argue with your training.
Yeah, exactly that. That's what I'd fucking say as well. And also remember as well that like training's meant to be fun, and I sometimes go on an exercise and I think, you know what, fuck the form out the window. I just want to move weight from A to B and just have some fun with it. And sometimes those sort of sets that I do, I enjoy it the most, and somehow I actually connect better doing that than I actually do being really, really fucking slow, concentric, really slow, eccentric with fucking 20-30 kilos less than what I usually would do. I think it's fun sometimes. I'm not saying you need to do that all the time.
You just lose your mind in a set, like,
and just fucking go for it.
A lot more output because you're literally just fully having fun, losing your head, and just having a great time. You've probably put, rather than having the emphasis of just, like you're saying, just very nice and slow, controlled, you're probably like, yes, cool, I've hit my limit. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. You want to go in and just sometimes go balls to the wall, and you'll probably find that you've done more than you fucking logbook said you were going to. You know what I mean?
George, that's a very good point. Like, I'm not putting videos on my story. I'm not training to appease you, like, and your reply. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. Like, some of the stuff I do isn't. I don't have the stage in mind at all. Like, I competed. I trained for 7 years before I ever stepped on a stage. I didn't train because I wanted to compete. Like, I ended up competing because I loved training.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. And if I want to throw a few things around, I will. So
Yeah. So yeah, so fucking big. Gives a shit. So.
But Caitlin, you're right in terms of just build a physique where it doesn't fucking matter. So.
Yeah. Like even right now,
Punch Warren, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Even like I was just about to say with Khifie, like even with him, I said him, fuck me, you form shit on 3:30. He's just gonna come tell me, you come do it then. And I'm like, I fucking can't. I can't. So
the thing with Khifie though, his form must be good because you can't pull 3:30 with average form because it's gonna fucking bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
So like with the weights that he's lifting, there's obviously an element of good form.
And he's not like majorly injured himself.
No, 100%. I agree with that. So yeah, I think that was a nice one to leave it on. I think we're going for about an hour and a half, I should say.
Hour and a half, bang on, hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah, bang on. So that's perfect. As ever, thank you to everyone that has watched to the end. If you are watching right now, let's comment down below. Oh, toothpaste. This is really good toothpaste, by the way, if you want to get pearly white teeth.
I always get the fear whatever you're going to pull in like every video, comment down below and then you start reaching for something.
Yeah, I have to fucking think on that.
I hate to think what you're going to pull out one day. I really do.
He's going to jump up behind him and get that butter down.
Comment down below, Primo. Testosterone, Trent. Yeah, lots of love, everyone. And we shall speak in a bit. Bye.
Hello.